Nico Panagio. And it's so cool that we get to capture this also on YouTube and Facebook so people can see your face.
Yeah, there we go.
On purpose this morning, Nico, I didn't shave because I wanted to kind of look a little bit like you.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Well, I shaved this morning because I was trying to look like you, so now we're
to meet on the middle ground.
Yeah.
Nico, we're not here to talk about razor blades or anything like that. We're here to talk about missing children in South Africa and the brand new movie called Sound of Freedom. Now, just late yesterday afternoon, you had an online interview with Tim Ballard. And for those who don't know, Tim Ballard is the guy that the story is all about. He's the man who actually went into the scary regions to save a child from child trafficking environment. But let's talk about it in a South African context, because it's very easy for us to kind of hype it up and get the American vibe and so forth and so on. But in South Africa, what is the stat? What are we looking at when it comes to missing children?
Well, you know, it's quite amazing that this film shines a light on a very harsh reality, but it's just one reality, and the crime of human trafficking, and in particular child trafficking, is firstly it's a global industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. It's just past the drug trade internationally.
That is scary, hey?
Exactly.
Yeah, human slavery has never been greater in the history of humankind.
Yeah.
Even when slavery was legal.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That's one of the big announcements in the film, right on the front of the film, which really hits home, right? And in every country, it's present. In every country, it's present. In every village, in every town, in every city, and it looks different in every way you find it. It has a slight difference, but at the end or the apex of whichever form you find human slavery in, child slavery in, is a child. And so what does it look like in South Africa? It looks like a child who is in the worst situation you can possibly imagine, continuously for their entire life, and many times a day. And it's something that is hard to imagine, hard to get our minds around. And the problem is hard to determine exactly what we're looking at, hard to quantify, because you know, the last official stats we had, I think, was back in 2013. By all measurements and speculation, one can only assume that it has intensified. And we judge that by the number of cases, you know, calls we get at Missing Children South Africa, the types of calls we get. You know, it used to be someone's disappeared because they ran away from home, or you know, the child's missing because they went to visit someone and haven't returned. Now we're talking kidnappings, and we're talking you know, all kinds of dastardly things. You know, in the film you see, and I'm not giving anything away, so it's not a spoiler alert. You see children in a container, and let me just say something. I've got to commend the filmmakers for dealing with the subject matter in such a gentle way.
I agree.
Yeah,
they really
it's
dealt with it. It's important because you don't want to.
You have to go and watch this film because it deals with children. You never see a child being hurt. You see the reactions of brilliant actors to material that they're looking at. You never see the material. It's a beautifully made film, touching on a very tender subject matter, and it's done very well. So what you see in the film happens in real life. It happens in South Africa. It happens at our ports and our docks. It happens at our ports of entry, and it's very, very real. And let me end this by saying that what this film does is it tells you one thing of many that's going on, and the reality of that alone is enough to shock you into, all right, I want to do something. That's what this film's about.
That's exactly what it's about. So for me, as a dad of 2 children, and having watched the movie, I must admit, I had to deal with a whole bunch of emotions, from like, I'm going to get a digital tracker that I can know where my daughters are. Exactly, microchip. I'm going to get a bodyguard. I'm going to get this, but I can't afford all these things. So what do I do? And then also not reacting out of a space of fear, but rather being proactive and saying, I can do something. As a man, as a husband, as a father, I can do something.
Yeah, you can. You know, I think it's so important because there's many ways to get involved, and I can make a list of them now. But I think let's talk about what you can do right now. All right. So number one, you can pray. we're commanded, we're encouraged to put on the armor of God every single day. Why? Why does Paul tell us that? What's the purpose behind it? Well, because we're being attacked every day.
Exactly.
Firstly, in the spiritual realm.
Exactly.
So you need that spiritual armor. You have to put it on. I mean, I've even taught my girls a song. That's the armor of God, so that they can put that armor on whenever they need to. And I think. Listen, this is not legalism. You don't have to wake up and put the armor on, otherwise you're not protected.
Exactly.
If you haven't put your armor on, if you're a child of God, if you're giving your heart to Christ, trust me, you're protected. But it's for you to remember that you're protected. God's protecting you, but he wants you to remember that you're protected. Okay, so the armor of God comes with being a child of God. But you need to remind yourself of that. And then that wakes up your mind, and you need to also be aware. Look around you, guys. What's happened in the last, who knows how long, humans have just become more and more closed off to society, closed off when you go outside. People become more and more just fearful of people around them. Do you even know your neighbors? Are you a community where you live, even if it's in the city? I live in a little village. We know all of every single person knows everyone else. If we see something weird in the street or untoward, we chat about it on our groups. We make sure that everything's kosher. And what's important is that engage with your community. See, it's a small circle. If it's just you and your children, that's one circle. Then the circle around you, the people who work with you, work for you, the people who watch your car when you go into the store. Get to know them. Get to know your environment. And when you go shopping, moms with the kids, and you're packing the bags in the car, take a look around you. Be aware we're living in a different world than when we were growing up.
That's it.
And I think we could carry on for hours about what to do, but that's where you start. And then let me just end this part by saying, if you see something happening to another child, say something.
That's it.
Do something.
That's it.
Get involved. Even to the point of embarrassment. Because rather be embarrassed than the alternative, which could be much worse. Rather go, oh gosh, sorry, I didn't realize that. Kid was just throwing a tantrum. But look and check and see. And there's so many amazing ways to get clued up on human trafficking, what it's about, how to prevent it, how to spot it, and then people you can call when you do spot it. So
exactly. No, that's great advice. Thanks, Nico.
Nico, you are also involved with Missing Children in South Africa. Tell us more about the work that you do.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel, we've been going for over a decade and a half, and it's the largest organization of its kind in South Africa. It's national. It's absolutely free. It's a service to the community. It's a voluntary organization. We have one person on staff that is paid a salary. Everyone else that works and has come in and out working and volunteering has done so as a labor of love. And essentially what it exists for is as a communication between the authorities and between the community. And we do a number of services, but the most important one is to be a source of information for people who have a child that's gone missing and they don't know where to start and what to do. So we'll guide you through the process, what you need to take to the police station, what forms you need to fill out, what you need to get from them, and then we can follow up with the investigating officer and make sure everything that can be done is being done. And so once we've got a case number, we then put the poster of that missing child out on our social media, vast social media, which has become the soap boxes and the cereal boxes of old, where there was a picture of a missing child on the back. Well, we use social media. That's what people don't read their milk boxes in the morning; they read their phone.
That's it.
And so that's what Missing Children's all about. And then we also do education, early childhood development education. We educate parents on what to be wary of, and through that work, I've learned so much about human trafficking, which when I started was a tiny little scratch on the surface of what I thought of why children go missing. And then I discovered it's this massive problem, and it's shocking in its enormity. So
yeah, that's brilliant. Absolutely love the work. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go and check out all the details. Just go and Google or search Missing Children SA. You'll find more details about that.
missingchildren.org.za, and there you get all the information you need.
That's easy as that. When it comes to the movie, I love, and we've been playing the advert for the movie where Jim Caviezel says, God's children are not for sale. And prior to that, he makes a statement and he says, the sad reality is that the trade of human trafficking and child trafficking is surpassing the drug trade. And then the fact that a child can be sold over and over and over again, that's the problem. So again, without there being fear in our hearts, it's about us being aware. And so with regard to that, there are those hand signals that people use. There are those ways, but also for us to be aware, like you said, to that mom, to that dad who's got the kids going shopping, before you start packing out the trolley and getting the kid in the car, look at your environment.
Yeah.
For those people who don't have kids, don't be sitting on your phone the whole time. Look up, enjoy the beautiful sky and its surroundings, and be aware of your surroundings.
Be a part of your community.
That's it.
Be an active part of your community. You're not living in this world alone. And people who think they can go through life alone, listen, I host a show called Survivor, right? And in the show, there's always someone who comes in and thinks they're going to make it all the way to the end by themselves.
Yeah.
Now, if you know anything about the show Survivor, you'll know firstly that it's a microcosm for the real world. And you'll understand that no one makes it to the end alone. You need alliances. You need people who work with you, people you can trust. How do you get people like that without engaging with your community? You found the ones who are the lone wolves. They often slowly but surely work their way out of the tribe, out of the community.
Yeah.
Because, if you aren't willing to work together, people can't trust you. They can't give you their trust, and they don't receive trust from you. Engage with your community, engage with your next door neighbor, engage with the people across the street, and get to know what's normal and what's abnormal. Develop an understanding, a sixth sense for when something's offbeat and you pick up and you go, hang on, what is that? Be aware. We've become so closed off and so locked into our screens that we're not looking around anymore.
Yeah.
We've got to wake up again. Look around. Just look around.
It is so true. As we wrap up now, I just think, your analogy of Survivor, and we all know that series so well and love it, but that thing of working together, it's about everybody and churches and community leaders saying, you know what, we can do this. And what I love is that we as South Africans are really starting to get that right more and more and more. Yeah. So with regard to that, just want to ask you as a parting shot, just to speak to those people who are new, perhaps to Cape Town, new to South Africa, feeling a little bit uncertain, new even to the faith of Christianity. Yeah. And they're like, just encourage us, please, Nico.
Well, let's start with this and say that the reason why this film is doing so well is there's something, let's say there's an anointing on this film. You go into this film and you get moved, and it moves you, it wakes you up to a reality that you didn't know was there. And it's not a beautiful reality, it's a shocking reality, but it also shows you a light, a pathway to get through that and to a better place behind it, because none of us want to live in ignorance, right? None of us want to live in a fake world, in a matrix that's not real. We want the truth. And what do we know about one of the names of Jesus Christ? He's the truth. He's the truth, the way, and the life. And when you're seeking truth, that's another promise Christ made. He said, if you seek me, you will find me. No matter where you are in the world. Remember, if you seek the truth, not a truth. A lot of people say, I'm living my truth. I'm living my truth. No, there is your perspective on the truth. And you can call it your truth if you want. That's fine. But understand that it's a perspective of the truth. And all of us, in some way, are seeking the truth. We want the truth in everything, in our relationships, in life, in the path we should take, and then in the way we see the world. And Christ promises, if you seek me, the truth, you will find me. Amen. No matter where you're from, no matter what culture you come from, what theology or lack thereof you have, if you look for him, wherever you are, eventually you will find the path that leads to him, because not only is he the truth, but he's also the way.
Yeah.
And he is the life. In him is life. And I want to encourage anyone who feels right now listening, who feels lost, just knowing that there's a reality of children being abused in this heinous way, and you feel lost, remember, we are part of the solution. We are the ones who have been empowered with free will to make a difference. People always say, but how can God allow this evil in the world? I say, hang on a second. God allowed free choice.
That's it.
To everyone.
Yeah.
You can either choose good or bad. And the world we see today is the consequences of people making those choices.
That's it.
So the more good choices we make, the more we war against those who make bad ones. And trust me, there are many more of us who make the good ones, or strive to, because none of us is completely good. Yeah. So that's all I want to leave you with. Beautiful. Is today, is your chance to change the way you see the world.
Come on.
I
One
love
good
it.
choice at a time.
That's it.
I love that.
Absolutely. Nico
Time is now.
Panagio, it's been such an honor to have you in studio. Thank you so much.
Privileged to be here.
And ladies and gentlemen, please go.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. Yes, it is rated PG-13, the movie, Sound of Freedom, but go and watch it, please, and then do something.
Can we quickly just mention that if you can't afford a ticket, listen to this. You'll know them by their fruit, right?
Mm.
Angel Studios and Gravel Road Films, they've made tickets available to people who can't afford them. And the way they've become available is that if you go and see this film and you want to donate a ticket to
That's
someone
it.
who can't
Yeah.
afford it to see it in theater,
Yeah.
they will sponsor the ticket you've paid for. They will
Mm.
sponsor that to someone who can come and watch the
That's
film
beautiful.
for free. They'll even provide transport
Sure.
from whatever village you're in to come and see the movie Sound
man.
of Freedom in studio. So just
Yeah.
go online
Come
and go
on.
and request a ticket if you can't afford one.
Yeah.
And if you can afford one, then pay it forward.
Pay
Yeah.
forward.
Pay it forward.
you know?
Exactly.
Mm.
Come on. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do something.
Awesome.
Nico Panagio, so cool to have you in studio. Look forward to doing this again.
Thank you.
Thank you.